Hello, coaches. Welcome back to another episode of Coach Better Spotlight. In this conversation, we're talking about building a successful coaching culture with James Dalziel, head of GEMS World Academy in Switzerland. This spotlight starts by highlighting how to begin building a coaching culture from the individual level to the whole school. James shares his experience from his previous role as head of East Campus of United World College of Southeast Asia in Singapore, as well as his current role in Switzerland. In every action, James prioritizes kindness and positive assumptions, and it's clear from his intentional and often informal conversations with his colleagues and community stakeholders that he's a leadership role model for any coaching environment. If you enjoy any part of this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more conversations like this, please subscribe to our channel and click the notifications bell to find out every time we release a new episode. Remember, you can also listen to the full Coach Better episode wherever you get your podcasts. We are passionate about the impact coaching can have on student learning, school culture, and teacher professional growth, and we want to help you coach better. We've got some great opportunities for more learning after today's conversation, so stick around all the way to the end. All right, welcome back to another episode of Coach Better. Today, Clint and I are here with James Dalziel. Welcome, James.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thanks for the invitation.
It is our pleasure. James, can you start us off by introducing yourself and telling us a little bit about your education background?
Sure. My name's James Dalziel. I've been in education now for 25 years. Didn't go directly into education, actually had a career before that in sports promotions. In terms of educational background, I'm a licensed welder and then got into education from the University of Toronto Education, like the Faculty of Ed there. Got in my first teaching job was in secondary, and I had the pleasure of looking after 12 boys on open custody who'd been expelled from local schools, and we spent the day in the basement of an old town hall doing school. So that was my first teaching job, lasted for 5 years. Fantastic, because it really helps you kind of set expectations in terms of what success looks like. My wife and I then decided to go overseas, was in Singapore for a long while, first at the Canadian School and then at the United World College, and now I'm at the GEMS World Academy in Switzerland and loving it.
So in both of your schools, I feel like you are modeling this kind of coaching growth mindset, this opportunity to fail and learn and just be willing to try new things. How, in addition to you modeling that, how do you get that to filter down to everybody in your organization? Because I heard you say a lot about recalibrating and going based on what feels right. And something that feels right to me might not feel right to Clint. So how do you get that unifying vision and feeling for your whole organization, whether it's big or small?
Yeah, so I guess one of the things is, it's a hard question. Boy, let's write a book on that. So one of the things would be...
Don't joke with Kim about writing a book.
Okay, no, noted. One of the things would be, though, I would say, what's our common ground? What can we agree on that, and maybe it's a mission statement, maybe it's a vision statement, right? So we have a vision that, and part of that vision is that we are committed to increasing the capacity of our students. We can call it rigor, we can go whatever that is, but we are committed. So we might say, well, let's have a conversation and let's stay in dialogue around, so what does that mean to you as a science teacher? What does that mean to you as a PE teacher? What does that mean in a pastoral role? What does that mean when we're on a school trip? Now we're having those conversations and we're starting to come to some alignment, at least around, well, broadly speaking, this is what our community understands this to be. Knowing that we're never going to have, and I would argue, nor do we ever want, complete alignment around that in terms of what exactly does it look like, because then it's hard to explore and be open-minded around what could it look like, right? So we don't want to hedge ourselves and put ourselves in a box. So I would say, with that too, the just the constant openness to, so what's next for us, right? What might this look like for you? And that's when I find myself constantly falling into a coaching role, or intentionally stepping into a coaching role, and having those conversations with people all across the school, with parents and students and staff, about, so if we talk about the community being important for us, in what ways does that manifest itself with what you do in the school? And just starting to filter all those things. And I mean, then maybe stepping out of the coaching role into a more collaborating role and saying, so let's think about this together. What things might we be doing with our parent community that would help? And, right? And so all you're doing is shifting very intentionally my roles as a coach, sometimes as a consultant, as a collaborator, as an evaluator, and moving through those very intentionally with people, just to, not for me to be right, but just to expand the conversation and deepen understanding, really, for us, as one way. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, well, I think what you're ultimately saying in all of these different ways that you're approaching this is it takes time, and it takes a lot of conversation, and a lot of conversation with individuals, so that people feel like not only are they part of that dialogue between themselves and the school leadership and the wider school community, but that, you know, their voice is being heard, and they're like invested in what's going on. But then also somehow, somewhere, all of that has to come together visibly for everybody. And I'm assuming that you're doing that through professional development opportunities or workshops with parents, or, you know, the normal way that we have all that come together. And I would imagine if teachers have been in so many conversations with you, other school leaders and other colleagues, that they would see themselves reflected in what's being shared in those meetings, even if their name isn't mentioned, or, you know, they're not quoted or whatever. They would hear the things that they're saying back to them as being presented as what we see for the whole school.
Right. And so one of the things, one of the elements for fieldwork education too, was this notion of a temporary fixed position. Mm-hmm. We're always moving, we're always growing, but at a certain time as a school, we need to stand and make a statement that this is where we are and this is what we're doing. And we can always consider it and we can always reflect on it, but we need to land at some time and actually make things happen, right? We can't just stay at 50,000 feet and keep talking about this in theory. So, but we do need to move between both. And so I think one of the jobs of the leader is to, as Heifetz would say, to step up on the balcony, right? Take that balcony view, constantly be kind of knowing that that's an important view, but that the work takes place on the dance floor, right? So moving between those two is really important. And sometimes, I mean, one of my jobs, and you mentioned about those kind of pinnacle moments of the year. I have the whole staff, for example, tomorrow, where we have a whole staff PD. It's the last week before our term. It's my opportunity to be able to get up in front and really bring everybody back together again around a single message. But that can also happen in a hallway, right? So again, it goes back to that every opportunity that I have, especially in a bigger school, but even now, again, a smaller school, that might be the only time that I see this person this week. So I need to make the most of that moment too, and maybe follow up on a past conversation or thank them for something that they did. And then the timing of that too, I mean, I can't control when I bump into people. So it goes back to that, what are we always talking about? We're always talking about how do we improve student learning? Well, that's just kind of what we talk about all the time. And then how do we do that? So again, and sometimes I might need to invite people up on the balcony and say, so what do you see when you look at this? And other times we might need to get together down on the dance floor and say, no, this is the work that needs to be done around the timetable for next year. You know, and so I think as a leader in a school, I also try to take every opportunity to, at the beginning of a meeting and at the end of a meeting, just do a little prefix and suffix around. So let's remember that we're here in this meeting today because we want to do these things, and we want to do these things in this way. And we'll go through our norms of collaboration, because it's important for us to work within a particular culture, and this is our chance to practice those. So even to say at the beginning of a meeting, pick a norm that you want to work on for the meeting, and then we'll turn to a partner, have a quick chat. What are we going to work on? We'll go through the meeting. At the end of it, we'll turn back to the same partner and say, "So how'd you do? How?" And that's just keeping those things at the forefront in terms of, as Clint said, how we work in terms of process is as important as the product that we come out with. So again, just taking every opportunity possible to be mindful, kind, knowing that I don't have all the answers, but my job is to work with the community and to support the thinking of the whole community, not just the individuals, but the organization as a whole. And that's important in terms of moving that forward.
Did you enjoy today's episode? Then you will love the Coach Microcredential program. We know because our current participants are always sharing their feedback with us, and we ask them to share their experiences with you. Each week, we'll be sharing a new voice from inside the cohort of the coach so you can get a participant's perspective on what will make the program just right for you.
I'm currently at the midway point with the Coach Microcredential, and I absolutely love it. I think Kim and the creators are mind readers. Somehow they have managed to figure out exactly what I need and when I need it. They have managed to put articles in that are applicable to exactly what I'm dealing with at the time at school, or are providing me the motivation to continue to keep moving whenever I need that motivation. The guidance, not only through Kim, but working with the other members of the Microcredential and just kind of hearing their thoughts, it really lets me know that I'm not alone in what I'm doing, and the feelings that I have are not ridiculous or silly, or I shouldn't be feeling them because other people in my position are feeling those same things. So I highly recommend it.
This is just one of the voices from our current The Coach cohort. Here's what a few others have to say.
I'd really advise anyone interested in taking the coach to take the plunge and go for it.
So I'd highly recommend it. I would definitely suggest you try and join to really help you develop your professional coaching skills.
So do it.
So I say go for it. Definitely take the coach. I couldn't recommend it more.
But overall, this course is fantastic because it's made me feel awesome. It's made me feel excited for my future.
If I were to give any piece of advice or message to future cohort members, it is to take the course. If you are on the fence, please take it.
As you can see, this micro-credential is for all educators, not just coaches, because you develop the coaching skills you can use in all aspects of your practice. You don't have to be a coach to have a coaching conversation with a student, a fellow colleague, a school leader, or even a parent. When you're ready to learn more about the coach, click on the link below or reach out to us at Eduro Learning on any of our social media platforms. Registration for our next cohort opens soon. Don't miss it. Expand your professional learning network, dive deep into 26 weeks of curated coaching content, and get your own private mentor for an entire academic year. We can't wait to work with you. Are you ready to take your coaching skills to the next level? Join the next cohort of The Coach and make it happen.